take us through this incredible album and how you brought it to life, because it is absolutely beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much.
Behind the scenes is like, is there anything in terms of making it, like, did you guys do anything different this time around compared to obviously your first rodeo? Like, take me through that kind of side of things.
Yeah, so we did do this one a bit differently this time. We made it completely ourselves at home. Did do a little bit of that on the last record, but we had a bit more outside help. So this one was probably the first record where we completely took the reins. Um, and we kind of made this one very much about trying to just lean into every song. I think with the last record, we made a really conscious effort to try and make it a cohesive set of songs and all fit into that kind of 90s vibe. Whereas this album, we kind of just wanted to lean into every song. So we've ended up with a pretty varied set of songs, I think. So there's some really heavy moments on there. There's some much quieter moments on there as well. So yeah, I think it's definitely been pulled together a bit differently, but I find it really interesting to listen to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, obviously, you guys as a band have had a lot going on surrounding the album, and then add on the last couple of years as a musician, generally, it's going to lead to stuff. And the album title is itself quite telling about obviously what some of the themes are. But what do you guys kind of ultimately hope a listener is going to take away from The World Don't Owe You Anything, like if you had that wish?
Yeah, I think it's just, like it sums it up pretty well in the title,
It's literally perfect.
Yeah, like nothing's just going to happen for you, if you know what I mean. Like if you want stuff to happen, you've got to go out there and make it happen yourself. And everyone has hard times, but you've just got to get out there and do what you can. And I think it's also a little bit about like good karma as well. Doing good things for people, and it'll all come back around. So just that feeling of hope and being there for each other, really.
Yeah, which is something I think you can know it in your brain as much as you like, but sometimes you do need to hear someone else say it to you for it to actually drive home, I think. So thank you.
No, 100%.
So I guess on a different tack, like in terms of album artwork or anything like that, like how much of an input do you guys have at this point with all of that stuff? Like, is that something that you guys all kind of sit around and discuss, or do you like farm it out and let someone take the creative reins with that? Like, what was the go with this one?
Yeah, Tyler likes to do a lot of the creative side of the artwork. So we had a pretty clear vision of this one. So if I'm sure you've hopefully seen it. It's like actually based off like the Scarface. There's a scene in Scarface where they're face down in the pool after the massive fight, and then there's that globe in Scarface as well. So basically, we really wanted to try and work with that and try and tie it in. And it looks like it's pretty glaring to look at. I think like pretty confronting, but I think it's pretty awesome at the same time.
And again, it's also just perfectly tying in with everything the album kind of is representing. And it's not even a negative thing, because, you kind of, life gives you those moments. And also,
Absolutely. Yeah.
who doesn't like Scarface?
Exactly. All big Al Pacino fans.
I love that. And I know you guys have got a lot coming up with the rest of the year. There's acoustic tours, there's good things and all of that. But in terms of like being able to be back on the road and playing stuff, like what's the reaction been like to some of the newer material for you guys and for the fans as well? Because obviously it's equally exciting for you guys to be back on stage as much as it is for the fans to be getting new stuff.
Yeah.
And favorites, what's the vibe been like with that stuff?
Yeah. So we just finished a run this weekend of the acoustic shows to celebrate the launch of the record, which was so much fun. Like, I don't know, there's just something about doing some of those smaller, more intimate shows where you can basically communicate a bit more with the audience. They heckle us, we heckle them. It was so much fun. But yeah, we played a handful of songs off the new record, and it was interesting. We played the entry ramp into The World Don't Know Anything, which are the first two songs off the record. And that's a pretty heavy song. So we're a bit worried how that would come off on a couple of acoustic guitars, but it was so cool. Like the crowd was singing the call and response with us. So it was such a nice vibe. The other one that worked well was we played Sunny too. So that's a bit of a quieter one. And that seemed to translate really well as well.
Yeah. Not to detract from the really beautiful, poignant stuff you were saying, but what was a standout heckle that arose during the acoustics?
There was one guy one guy just was getting stuck into Tom about his guitar tone. He was like, more treble in the guitar. It was pretty funny.
I like that. It's really, really nice too, though, with anything. I mean, obviously, a good song is a good song no matter how you play it, and a good rock song is a good acoustic song is a good whatever song. Like, it's awesome to see how well your songs do translate. And man, I'm kicking myself I didn't get to see it, because like it's just that magical moment that you really get to kind of experience something in a whole new different light. So yeah, I mean, I know we can't expect an acoustic set at Good Things, but you know, it'll still be
We can. We'll see if we can throw in a strip back moment in there for you.
I guess one last thing with the album, I mean, I know you've touched on some songs as well that like the fans have been loving, but for you yourself personally, kind of in this moment now that the album is out and people have been able to witness it and you guys have finally been able to let it into the wild,
Yeah.
what is a song in this moment that is a particular favorite for you, whether it doesn't have to be your ongoing favorite forever, but just right in this moment, what is a standout for you, whether for how it sounds, what it means to you? What is Patrick's favorite from The World Don't Own You?
Yeah, at the moment, I think it's the third song, Habits. Just because I feel like it's a bit of a throwback, like it's probably the fastest song we've done for a while. It's got some nice heavy guitars in the bridge, and I feel like it's something we haven't made for quite a few years. So, yeah, that one kind of gives me the feels, and like people I've spoken to have been like, "Oh, this is like the old Brasi." So they love it.
I like it. The bridge to Brasi. I like this.
Yeah, basically.
Well, turning that kind of into looking at Good Things then, to finish off this little one. Obviously, it's a little way in advance. You've just come off an acoustic run, so the brain has been in a different mode. But like, are there any non-negotiables that are going to hit the set list up? Like, what are you guys thinking in terms of that yet?
In terms of what we're going to play.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want you to give away everything, but like,
Yeah.
are there non-negotiable ones? Are there ones that no matter how many times you played it, you just cannot not put it in the set? What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Like theme song from HQ off the first album is like got to be on every set list, I think. And then I reckon we probably play Aeroplane every set we do. Conviction, obviously, because that's a crowd favorite. So they're probably the big three. And then we'll throw in, probably 4 or 5 songs from the new record as well.
Well, that's going to be exciting. And there's going to be a lot of other bands that are obviously on this incredible bill that you guys are on. Not your first festival rodeo, but are there any bands on this lineup that you are most excited to see? I mean, obviously there's a lot of international bands, which is, a huge influx for us after having no international bands, but who is on your bucket list for Good Things?
For me personally, it's Taking Back Sunday, definitely. Like, massive 2000s punk rock emo fans, and I've never seen that band live. And so I'm just really pumped to see how they go, and just I'm hoping it lives up to my very high expectations.
You know what? I'm like, I keep looking at my calendar. I'm like, it's been a long time since they've been a band, and I have not seen them once. So
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I'm very happy to tick that off too. Festival wise, for you personally, what is an essential item that you like to have with you when you are playing these shows? Because obviously they're pretty well win back to back, show. So
Yeah.
just something that you like to have with you that helps keep you sane, and it doesn't have to be drastically exciting. A lot of people will often go the headphones route or something, or clean socks is another one. But what would we find in your festival emergency kit?
I was going to say vodka cruisers, probably.
What flavor, most importantly?
We like to get a mixture, but probably raspberry, most likely.
Oh,
Yeah.
speaking to 16-year-olds.
We're 16-year-olds at heart.
Oh,
But you have those days where it's all feeling a bit hard and you got to get yourself a bit G'd up. It's just, I don't know, the sugar in there just gets you going.
it feels very on brand for the kind of like the whole nostalgia, childhood throwback vibe they've got with all the artwork and stuff too. So I feel like you guys are extremely on brand with this, which is
Yeah, we're blending right in.
yeah, nailed it.